Hi everybody, thank you for coming back, and if you're new, welcome. So I wanted to tell a story time about my psycho roommate. I know there's so many stories about psycho roommates. I think that it's seriously like so common to have like crazy roommates, but this guy was like legit, like certifiable. Like he needed to be actually institutionalized after this, and it was really scary because we had no idea just how unhinged the guy was. So, I forget exactly how my boyfriend knew him, but I think it was through work or something like that. But the guy was trying to get back on his feet. I think he got fired, but he had not workman's comp, but unemployment coming in, so he had money. He needed a place to stay. We figured that we could rent out a room of our home, so we thought, what the heck, we could help somebody out in the process, and it would help us out with bills and everything. So everything was great at the beginning. He was very helpful, very sweet, very nice, had no problems with cleaning up after himself, no drama right away, stayed to himself most of the time. Me and him were getting kind of close because he was at home all the time and I was a stay-at-home mom, so me and him would hang out and we would get to kind of get to know each other and talk, and I'm just friendly anyway, but I think that with the combination of him not being completely fully stable and able to understand social like cues and social stuff, like that it's just etiquette to be polite and it doesn't mean it means more. I think he has problems with that already, and then with me just being kind and nice to him, it was all, I think, misconstrued in his mind. But it got really severe is the problem. The guy straight up, like, I'll tell you how it all came together, but the bottom line is he threatened to kill my boyfriend, got a gun, to kidnap me and my son, who was only 2, maybe 1.5, 2 at the time, and he wanted to save me and my son away from my boyfriend for whatever reason he felt he needed to save us. And then also, it was around Christmas time, and he was feeling that he was Jesus Christ, and that he was the second coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh, and that he was going to burn everything with his hands. He was just burning everything, and he basically was threatening to burn down the home, to shoot Chris, my boyfriend, and to kidnap me and my son. So it got really scary and really intense very, very quickly. And this all transpired to this extent of craziness all in just one night. Gradually, he started to do things like trying to serenade me with songs and poems, and I took it as being very sweet. I'm not the type of person that's going to be mean to somebody. I just don't want to embarrass them. So I thought they were very sweet, but I also tried to kind of veer him off and let him know that, like, this might be good for you to give to somebody else, like a girl that you really like, or trying to just veer him off in another direction, that I was not available. I wasn't somebody he could have. And I mean, there's nothing special about me, but like, he was just nuts, like obsessed about me. And what had happened is my boyfriend, I finally had to tell him because it was getting to be too uncomfortable for me. And of course, he didn't really know what was going on at home. He thought everything was just kind of okay, that, Brian, the guy's name was Brian, I don't remember his last name or anything, but his name was Brian, and he thought everything was fine, that he was a good roommate, there was no problems, I got along with him. I didn't really want to say anything because my boyfriend has a temper. He's also a third-degree black belt, and he can tend to fight. And I mean, I've seen him get into a lot of fights where he just beats the shit out of people. And I really didn't want to see this guy get hurt. I just wanted him set straight. So I was in the other room, which was right next to the room he was renting. After I told my boyfriend what had happened, showed him everything, I just felt it was just getting to a point where we just had to get him to leave. And my boyfriend didn't understand at first why, and was against it until I had to, so I was kind of forced kind of to really push the issue and show him why I felt so uncomfortable. And at this point, it was no threats of any kind or anything weird except for just him, you know, hitting on me, serenading me, and writing me love poems, and singing to me, and things like that, which were very sweet, and I thought he was a sweet guy, but it was just misguided, you know. I'm engaged, you know, I'm not open, you know, I'm not on the market, he can't, it's just not going to happen. I have a son with this guy, I'm in love with him, I'm not in love with Brian. But Brian didn't see it that way. He seed me as apparently damsel in distress that he had to rescue, which is very sad. I do feel bad for the guy, but it was very scary. So I hope I described this well, or I'm explaining this okay. It's been a long time, and I'm just trying to think of the best way. I'm just kind of talking just from a stream of consciousness of just thoughts coming to me, trying to think of what exactly happened. I'm trying to not leave out any details so it makes sense. So now we're coming up on the big night of when everything hit the fucking, like, the shit hits the fan. So this is when my boyfriend then went to confront him, but he wasn't being, like, extremely mean. He was forceful, and he did barge down his door, like, well, just, you know, just opened his door forcefully. Didn't get in his face, but was, like, yelling at him from the doorway from where he was sitting at his computer, and was saying, you need to get the fuck out, we'll give you a couple days, but you need to leave, this is inappropriate, basically, you know, I know what you were doing to, you know, talking to my girlfriend, the things you were saying, inappropriate, not cool, dude, you know, like, we're supposed to be friends. And, you know, he was yelling this and was very angry. I was listening in the other room because I had a feeling that this guy was going to try to say, like, oh, you know, something else happened, like he attacked him or something. And I was right. The second that my boyfriend shut the door and goes, so you got it? Like, kind of said something along the lines like, so you got it? You got it? Good. All right, you got it. Now, you know, stay in your fucking room. Don't come out and talk to anybody. And look for another place quickly. And just, like, slammed the door, said something smart ass. You know what I mean, guys, trying to be tough guys. And so I heard him calling 911, Brian. And he was saying that my boyfriend had apparently assaulted him, hit him, came in and assaulted him and punched him. And then I ran right into the room and I said, no, you're lying, while he was on the phone with the cop. And for some reason, he couldn't seem to lie to me or lie in front of me, and he immediately started to just get remorseful and backtrack on what he was saying to the police. The police were getting confused, and what I didn't know is that downstairs my boyfriend was also calling the police. Before the police arrived, this is when he started to go into a full spiral schizophrenic attack, which he had schizophrenia, so, you know, he had a schizophrenia attack. Maybe this was brought on by all of this stress going on from being confronted, and then whatever. I mean, different things can trigger different things for people, but I'm guessing that's what happened. He was standing at the top of the stairs with his arms spread out wide and was looking up and was saying that he was Jesus Christ and that he would burn everything, and he was saying this over and over. And I mean, my son was in bed, and this guy's being loud. Thankfully, my son slept through all of it, but it was very scary, and it was really bizarre. And I was trying to reason with him and talk to him, and I'm like, you're not Jesus Christ, you're Brian. You need to go in your room. You need to go calm down. I'll deal with the cops when they show up. And he was like, okay, that's fine. You talk to them. Because he didn't have any problem with me. Like, he liked me, so he was, like, going along with what I wanted. And I told him, like, I don't remember how the threat exactly came in, where he had a gun. It was unloaded, so it wasn't a threat in that way, but he had a gun. And I don't know if it came about before the cops showed up, but he was threatening Chris, saying he was going to kill him, and that he was going to take me and my son and rescue us, and take the truck that was my fiance's, and take us away. I'm obviously very scared at this point. I'm thinking this guy's going to kidnap me. He's going to kill, you know, my fiance, and God knows what else he'll do, because he's off his rocker. The cops arrive. they're separating my boyfriend and him because my boyfriend is all riled up at this point, freaking out because he's threatening him and saying he's going to shoot him and such, and like fight was kind of breaking out. They didn't get in a physical altercation, thankfully, because my boyfriend really would have beat the shit out of him, and I knew that that assault charge would just make things worse. I was trying to reason with Brian while I'm also trying to keep my boyfriend apart. The cops separated him by making my boyfriend stand outside, and Brian was in the kitchen, and he started balling up like this, like in a ball, like covering his face and then rocking back and forth. And he just kept saying over and over, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And then the cops are looking at me, like obviously like, what the fuck? And then they're looking at him and they're trying to talk to him, like they're getting kind of pissed off at this point where they're like, "All right, Brian, now come on," like clapping their hands like, "Come on, get with it, wake up, like you need to talk to us. You said you were assaulted, what happened?" And I looked at Brian and I said, "Tell the truth, you made it all up. I was in the other room and I heard it all. Are you gonna lie to me?" And I looked at him in the eye and looked at him, and he looked back at me, and he just looked at me with these sad puppy eyes, and he goes, "No, it didn't happen." And then he just started to bawl, and then he rolled over in the fetal position, rocking still, just screaming, "I'm sorry," and then saying, "I'm Jesus Christ, I'm just trying to do what I'm supposed to do. They're stopping me." Weird things coming out of his mouth. And the cop obviously looks at me. I'm the only person here that they can see that, like, is in a rational state. My boyfriend's freaking out and angry. This guy's nuts, losing his shit. I'm completely just, I know to keep my calm. I'm dealing with a cop. Just be respectful, answer their questions, don't overtalk, don't get into bullshit stuff, just stay to the facts. They don't give a shit about all the other bullshit. They just want to know what happened, who, what, when, where, why. That's all they give a shit about. They don't care about the big old backstory. So that's what I did. I just gave them, answered their questions. I don't like calling cops. I'm not a fucking rat. I don't like being a cop caller, but this is a situation where my family's in danger. That's when I will get the cops involved. And it was necessary because he had already called the cops. We didn't even need, I was not going to have to do that, but that's where it was, getting to be, because there were threats being made. A gun was found. They didn't handcuff him, but they did put him in the car because he started to be compliant and wasn't resisting or becoming trouble, just blabbering off a bunch of weird stuff. He, actually the creepiest thing was when he was in the car and they rolled down the window a little bit for him to have air, because he kept saying he couldn't breathe because I think he was having a panic attack. And which, that's common, people having panic attacks, they're scared and stuff, and they're going through a complete psychotic break. All this stuff's going on. He was screaming out the door that he would be there for me, that don't worry, I'll rescue you, please just don't give up on us, he was saying. I just felt really bad for the guy. That's why it's hard for me to even try to say this in a shitty way to put him down. I feel bad. The guy had a legitimate mental disorder and he had a total psychotic break. Now later, after all this had happened, we had a protection order in place. He couldn't come back to get his things, but his parents, who I'm in Maine, so his family was actually from New Hampshire, they drove up. Very, very kind, great people. They actually thanked us for getting a hold of somebody to get him committed, because they couldn't commit him because he was an adult, and without there being an incident such as something like this to get him committed because he was shown to be a danger to himself or others, there was nothing that his family could do. But they were very, very happy because he went off his meds, and they started explaining a little bit of his history to us. They actually sat for a while and talked to us about Brian. It made me really understand a lot of things. I realized that he has a really big heart. He was a really nice guy. He just went off his meds, and it just shows just how scary things can get. And thankfully, his gun was unloaded, and that there was no further threat to me and my family, but who knows what things could have happened, and that's scary. So, it's already a pretty long story, but I just kind of wanted to let you guys know about my legitimately crazy, mentally ill, out there roommate that I had. And I've had a lot of crazy roommates. I swear if I'm able to not have a roommate besides just me and my husband and my son, like, is all we live with, and we just live in a smaller place, or we just do what we can within our means, I'd rather never have a roommate ever again. And I mean, I even have stories of where I just take in people for a little while, because I've grown up in a house where it's always been an open door policy, where, like, my parents always took in everybody, like, all the stray kids in my neighborhood. Oh my God, always taking them in, always there to help them, always wanting to do stuff for them. And that kind of rubbed up on me. I've always wanted to be there to, like, help people, and if I see somebody that's down and out and they're going through a struggle, I want to take them in and help them. And there's only been 2 females ever that I've let live with us, because I prefer men, because females, for one, will steal your makeup, steal your hair stuff, steal your things, your clothes. I'm always losing shit with girls. I hate that about girls. Guys, obviously, are not going to be stealing your makeup, not going to be stealing your stuff. That's why I prefer men. Guys are usually very simple, don't have a lot of stuff. They are pretty easy to clean up after, and, you know, they don't mind doing, like, some, you know, manual labor around the house if need be, you know, if there needs to be, like, a lawn mowed or trash taken out or this or that. They usually don't bitch too much about having to do it. They just know that's, you know, what they have to do to pull their weight. So anyway, this video's gotten so long, I just wanted to let you know about that story. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pretty crazy experience. I mean, being in the moment and, like, wishing that I had video of that to show you guys, it would have been so much better. Oh, I wish I had video of that. Seeing him act the way he did, you guys would be like, what the fuck? Like, no. It was crazy. So, anyway, I keep on saying so. I'm sorry. Not that you guys care. I mean, I know that's the thing with YouTubers, is, like, we just start saying sorry for shit that really you probably don't give a shit about, but whatever. I think that we just feel, like, this pressure to, like, try to be perfect, so we're always saying sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I would love it if you would subscribe so that you can catch up on any new videos that I post, and that you like the video. And any comments, questions, anything else, you can leave them down below. And that's about it. So I thank you guys all. I love you. Bye.